Greetings, fellow grade 11s. It is Mr. Hlajari here. Welcome to Back to Basics. What we are doing today, basically, we are still looking at our natures of roots, right? So please ensure that you have watched your introductory video here on natures of roots so that you can at least have a little idea on what we are doing here, right? But let me just start here so that at least all of us, we are fine in terms of understanding of the natures of roots, right? Before we can solve our question, I want you to have this understanding, right? As soon as we are speaking of natures of roots, right? So here, our discussion, it is mostly on the solutions of quadratic equations, right? Which is the one that we call it the roots of the equation, right? Remember, from our quadratic equation, we are having x is equals to negative b plus minus, this is going to be b squared, subtract 4ac over 2a. Once again, right? So what is it that we are doing here under natures of roots? Basically, we want to classify the roots here. Remember the root here, it is this one, right? Which is going to be b squared, subtract 4ac, right? So we want to classify this particular root out again. And how are we classifying the root, right? So we are saying now under this root, we want to firstly find out whether do we have a number that is going to be real or a number that is going to be what? A number that is going to be non-real. Once again, right? I know probably someone is asking themselves in terms of what is real and what is non-real. Maybe let me just give you an example, right? So can you say that now here under the root, if I can say now find out the square root, let's say for an example, we are using 4, right? Under the square root, if you are finding 4, isn't it that here you are going to have the solution of 4, which is going to be same as what? Which is going to be same as 2. Are we again, right? Now, however, if I can say now from here, find out what is going to be the root of negative 4, right? Again, can you see that here you are going to have an undefined? Again, which means now this particular root of this particular number, which is a negative number, it is going to be what? It is undefined. Are you fine, right? So which means now from here, which means the root of any number, right? The root of any number that is going to be what? That is going to be greater than 0. It's going to be real, right? Where your delta is greater than 0, it's going to be real. And where your delta is going to be less than 0, this is going to be non-real, right? Maybe let's understand what is our delta, right? Our delta, right? Our delta, it's what we find under the root. Okay, so we simplify it and write it as delta, which means now we know that our delta is representing b squared subtract 4ac. Okay, right? So basically that's what our delta it is representing in here. Okay, so and then now I want you to have something here, right? So we are saying under the roots, right? Let's start with the real roots. Now we can have different categories of real roots, right? So we can have what? We can have rational roots here. We can have rational roots, or we can have what? Irrational, right? We can have rational or irrational. Now, what is it that I want you to understand when we're speaking of that, right? Now, so we are saying rational roots, right? Rational roots are the ones that you are going to get where you are going to get what? A positive integer, right? Here, for an example, when you're doing the square root of 1, when you're doing the square root of what? When you're doing the square root of 4, when you're getting the square root of what? Of 9 and square root of what? This, your square root of what? This is going to be also your square root of let's say now from here, this is your square root of 16. Out again. Now, so these are going to be rational, right? These are some of the roots that are going to be understood here as what? As rational, right? So, however, now your irrational root will be what now? So when we are looking at irrational root now, we are saying these are going to be, for an example, your root of 2. Once again, isn't it that when you're looking for a root of 2, you are going to have what? You are going to have decimal numbers, right? Your root of 3, your root of 5, out again, right? So these are going to be roots, but these particular roots here are going to what? They are going to be irrational because they are not going to give a what? Any other positive integer number. Out again, right? So basically now that is going to be, a typical understanding here when it comes to what? When it comes to your rational and also your irrational roots. Are we fine, right? So, and also here under this particular umbrella, we also have what? We are also having what we call our equal roots, right? We have our equal roots, right? So our equal roots, for an example, it's, let's say for an example, it's where you are getting the two values of your roots, either being x be equals to 0 or your x being equals to what? Your x being equals to 2. I mean, your x being equals to 2 or your x being equals to 2. This is going to what? This is one thing that we can classify as what? As equal roots, right? However, if you're getting the value of your x being -1, for an example, and then the other value of your x being our 3, then this is going to be understood as what? As unequal roots. Are you getting, correct? So these are some of the very, very basic things that we are going to be looking at today, right? But just ensure that you just check from this particular playlist so that you get some of the introductory video when it comes to what? When it comes to our natures of roots, right? Now I want us to attempt these questions that we are given here. Now that I've at least given you a little bit of background here, right? Now, so in here, I want you to look at this number 1. What are they saying here? Now, they want us to discuss the natures of roots here, right? So they want us to discuss the natures of roots for each of the following equation, right? So now, what is it that you are doing here? So we are saying now from here, how can we define this? Remember, they are saying for your A, you are having x squared subtract x subtract 6 is equals to 0. Once again, now, so what is important for us to note is that we cannot solve for any nature of roots without firstly writing everything in a standard form, which is it's always going to be ax squared plus bx plus c, which is equals to 0. Once again, and this particular equation above, it is given in this quadratic equation form. Once again, so and then now after here, what is it then that you are going to do? Now they want us to discuss whether are the root, what is going to be your natures of roots, right? So which means when we are discussing here, they want us to find out whether are these roots going to be what? Real or not real, right? Are they going to be rational or unrational, right? So what is it that you are going to do? In order for us to define these roots, we are going to start with firstly understanding what is our delta, right? Because our delta is the one that gives us the root. Remember now we are saying delta is given by b squared subtract 4ac. Once again, right? So firstly, you are going to find out in terms of what is going to be the value of our delta, right? And what is going to be the value of your b. Can you see that your value of your b is -1 because it's the number that it is next to the x, right? So this is -1 subtract 4. Your value of your a is 1 and your value of your c is -6. Once again. So now we can calculate what is going to be our delta here, right? And then now the delta here that you are going to find, the answer that you are having here, this is same as 25, right? So now, can you see, I want you to look at something. Can you see that 25, it is a number that is greater than 0, right? So which means now here you can define this as what? Because if you can say root of 25, can you see that this number, it is going to be real, right? Can you see that this is going to be a real number? Are you fine, right? Now, which means this number, it's real. And what is it then that you can also say from here? Now, we are also saying now the roots here are also going to be rational, right? The roots here are going to be rational altogether because they are going to give you a positive, right? They are going to give you a positive natural number whenever you are finding out the nature of roots in here altogether, right? So basically now that's what you are going to have in here, right? So now I want us to then look at something else now. Let's look at now our B, right? And see in terms of what is it then that you are having in our B. So in the B, they are saying now from here, they want us to find out what is going to be what, also the nature of root here. Let's look at the B. The B you are having what? This is 2x squared subtract. This is 5x. Now this is going to be plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, what is it then that you're going to do from here, right? So I want you to look at this, right? So to define the delta here, we need to firstly find out what is that delta, right? And remember our delta, it's always given by b squared subtract 4ac Are we together? Right? So which means here we want to firstly find out whether are the roots rational or irrational. Are we together? Or are the roots real or non-real? Now, what is the value of your p? Can you see that your p here it's -5? Yes. Your p it's -5 squared. Subtract 4, your a it's 2, and then your c it's same as 1, right? And then when you are solving for all of this, what is the answer that you're getting? Then this is going to be 17 altogether, right? So which means now this particular root is going to what? The roots are going to be real. Can you see that? Your delta is greater than 0, which means now here, which means your roots are going to what? The roots are real, right? The roots are real. However, if you can say, what is the square root of 17, right? Can you see that here you are going to have what? You're going to have a number that is going to have what? Decimals, which means this is going to what? They are irrational, right? They are irrational as much as they are real, but they are what? They are irrational, right? So let's look at our number C then now. So in number C, you are given that you're having x squared, subtract 6x. This is going to be plus 9 is equals to 0, right? And how do you define your roots? You start by finding firstly what is the square root. Square root is same as b squared, subtract 4. This is AC. Now, what is your b here? Now, your b, can you see that your b is same as -6 squared? Subtract 4. What is the value of your A? It is 1. What is the value of your C? This is going to be positive 9. Can you see that, right? Right. So which means now from here, what is it then that you're going to do? The answer that you're going to have here, remember what is -6 here? The -6 here, this gives you 36. And then when you are saying now 4 multiplied by 9, this is also giving you 36, right? So which means your delta here, it's going to what? Your delta is 0. Are you fine, right? So, and if your delta is 0, right? Can you see that now your roots are also real here, right? Because when you go to your calculator and say, what is the root of 0? You are actually finding a number, right? So which means the roots are what? They are going to be real. Once again, the roots are going to be real. And now, what else then now that you are going to also find? Remember that if you are saying root of 0, you are also finding a what? You are also finding a number altogether, which is going to be a constant number, a positive integer, right? Which means this is also going to be a rational altogether, right? So whatever that you're going to find here, it's rational. So which means this, it's going to what? This is going to be a real. Now, let's look at then our number D and see in terms of what is then that you're going to have here. So this is x squared subtract x plus 2 is equals to 0. How can we solve this, right? So now they want us firstly here to define in terms of what is your root. Now here, again, you're using your delta. Your delta is equals to b squared subtract 4ac, right? Now, what is the value of your b here? Can you see that your value of your b is -1 squared? Subtract 4, the value of your a is 1, and the value of your c is what? It's 2. And what is the answer that you're going to get for your delta here for the last one? It is -7, right? Once again, so if I can say now, find out what is the square root of -7. Can you see that here? This is going to be non-real, right? This is non-real because when you plug this in your calculator, you're not going to find this value, right? So which means this particular value, it is non-real. And then now number 2, what else then now you know about this, right? So if the root is non-real, then there's nothing that you can say. You cannot then furtherly define it as what? As rational or irrational. Are we fine, right? So basically now that is going to be that one, right? Now, I want you now to look at now the next question, right? Now, I want us to examine the next question carefully so that we can see in terms of what is it then that you're having in here, right? Now, I want you to understand that in the next question, they say for which values of m, right? Let's just remove here quickly. So this is us removing here quickly, right? So now they are saying now for which values of m will the equation, right? So what is the equation that they've given us, right? They are saying now for the equation of, now from here, this is x squared, right? Right, look at this one, right? This is x squared. X squared, this is going to be plus 4x plus m is equals to 0, right? Have, now I want you to understand this, right? So they saying to have unequal real roots. Out again. So they say for which values of m. Now I want you to look at something very much carefully here, right? So when we are saying here, when we are saying we are looking for what? When we are saying we are looking for unequal, right? Real roots, which means here for unequal real roots here, this is where your delta is greater than zero. Out again. So now we are not asking you to either define whether are the roots going to be real or non-real, equal or unequal, right? We are already giving you a statement. Now we want you to solve for the values of m if your roots are unequal, right? So which means here we are not looking for delta, but we are substituting into your delta so that we can find the values of m, right? And I want you to have an understanding that this is still given in terms of ax squared plus bx plus c, which is equal to 0, right? Can you see that your a is still 1 here? Your b, it's your 4. And can you see that your c, it is your m, right? Your c, it is your m in here, right? So now I want us then to start. So what is it then that you're going to do now? From here, you are going to say, look, now here for the unequal real roots, this is when your delta, it is greater than 0, right? So which means this is where you're having b squared subtract 4ac, which is greater than 0, right? Now, what is the value of your b? Remember, we just discussed that the value of your b is 4 squared subtract 4. The value of your a now will be what? Will be 1, because next to an x squared, you are having 1, right? And the value of your c in this case is same as what? M, which is going to be greater than 0. Are we fine? And then now, what is it then that you're going to do? Now we are going to start solving, right? And then what is going to be this one from here? Now we are saying here this is going to be 16. Subtract now 4 multiplied by 1 is 4, and then 4 multiplied by 1 it's negative 4, and then negative 4 multiplied by m, this is negative 4m, which is greater than what? Which is greater than 0. Now what is it that you are going to do now from here? So now we are going to transpose, right? So you are going to transpose. You are going to say negative 4m, it is greater than what? It is greater than 16. Now from here, you are going to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. I want you to take note that whenever you divide an inequality sign by a negative, the sign changes, which means your m is going to be less than what? This is going to be less than negative 4. Altogether, right? So which means the value of your m in this particular case is going to be less than negative 4. Altogether, right? So basically now that's what you are going to have in here. Are you together, right? So now is this negative 4? This is actually going to be positive 4. Why am I doing this? Because this is negative here, right? This is negative, so which means the answer is positive, right? Because when you transpose the 16, it becomes negative because the side it was what? It was positive, right? Hopefully you've noted that one. Now let's move to our B. Now in our B, they are looking now for equal real roots, right? Now, and now what is it then that you're going to have here? So equal, unequal is when the delta is greater than 0. Equal real roots, right? Equal real roots, this is going to be where delta is equals to 0. Whenever we are looking for equal real roots, right? Uh, Equal real roots, this is always going to be where delta is equals to what? Is equals to 0, right? So which means now here, this is same as what? This is same as b squared subtract 4ac is equals to 0, right? Now the value of your a, your b, and your c haven't changed. So now what is the value of your, what is the value of your a there? The value of your a was 4 squared, right? So this is still 4 squared. Subtract 4, your value of your a is still 1, and the value of your c is still m. And then this is equals to 0, right? Can you see that this is going to be 16? 16 subtract, this is going to be 4m, and then now it's equals to 0. Can you see that this is negative 4m is equals to negative 16, which means the value of your m here, it's going to be same as 4. Oh, it's okay, right? So which means the value of your m here, it's going to be simply same as what? This is simply same as 4. Are we fine, right? Now, so now from here, remember these were equal roots. Now, if you want to go and examine now in terms of what will be non-real roots, right? Remember we said non-real roots are the roots. It's the number where which is not going to be defined under the right under the root, which means non-real root. This is going to be same as what? This is going to be same as where your delta it is less than 0, right? So which means this is still same as b squared subtract 4ac is equals to, or is less than what? Is less than 0. Remember the value of your a, b, and c, we are still using the same thing, right? So the value of your a here is still 1, the value of your b is still 4, and the value of your c is still m, right? Now, what is the p here? This is still 4 squared subtract 4. Your a is still 1, and your c, right? And what is going to be your c here? The c is still going to be same as m. This is less than 0 now, right? So this is 16 subtract 4m is less than 0. Then now, which means, can you see that what is going to happen here? Now, this is going to be same as negative 4m, right? Remember here, the 16 was positive. It's going to be now less than negative 16, right? So which means now your m here, when you divide by negative 4, this is going to be where this is greater than what? Where this is greater than positive 4. Are we all fine, right? So basically now that's what you are going to do in this particular question, right? Now let's look at the last question when it comes to what? When it comes to our natures of roots, right? Let's just examine this last question here. Now, in this one now, they say that show that the roots of the equation are what are rational for all rational values of p, right? So now I want us to start here. Remember, for us to start with anything else, we need to start by firstly finding out the standard form, right? So which means this is going to be x squared. This is going to be plus px. This is going to be plus p. Now, I want to transpose the 1 this side. Can you see that this is going to be negative 1 is close to 0, right? Now, when they are saying the roots are what? When they are saying the roots are rational, before we can do that, I want us to find the value of your a, the value of your b, and also a value of your c, right? Can you see that the value of your a, it's same as 1, right? Because there's nothing here next to an x squared, right? Now, the value of your p, can you see that? Remember, the value of your p, you always find where you're having what? You're having the variable of x, which means your p here, it's same as p. And then now your C is always going to be the last constant, which means your value of your C in this particular case, it's same as your C, it's same as P minus 1, right? Oh, it's okay, right? And now from here, what else then now are you going to do? Then we are going to say, look, now they are saying here where you're having rational roots, right? And then we are saying now from here, they say show that, right? So they want us to prove that the roots here are going to be rational, right? So basically they want us to prove that whatever that you are going to have in delta, it's going to be what? Rational, which means here we are going to use the delta and say delta, it's same as b squared subtract 4ac, right? And I want you to understand this question. This question doesn't tell you that the roots are either rational or not rational, right? They want you to prove that, right? So which means now when you're using this, the b is going to be same as what? This is same as p squared subtract 4. What is going to be your a? Your a, it's 1, and your c, it's same as p subtract what? P subtract 1. We fine, right? And can you see that this is same as p squared subtract, what is this? This is going to be 4, which is going to be negative 4p, and then negative 4 multiplied by negative 1. This is going to be positive 4. Are we together, right? And now after that, what else then now are we going to do? Then we are going to factorize this, right? Can you see that this is factorizable, right? This is actually a perfect square. When you factorize this, just open your two brackets. This is p and p. This is 2 and 2, because factors of 2 and 2 that can give us negative 4, it's 2 and 2, right? So this is going to be negative and negative, right? Can you see that now? This is same as what? This is p, which is minus 2 everything squared, right? Because these are two brackets of the same thing. And now from here, what is it then that you're going to say? Now, can you see that the roots here are perfect square, right? The roots here are going to what? Are going to be perfect square, right? And they are also what? They are also rational, right? And also any other perfect square roots, it's also identified as what? As also what? This is also identified as your rational roots. Are you together? Perfect square and also rational roots are going to one and the same thing, right? Now, I want us to look at this. Now, I want us to look at this, your b. In your b, you're having x squared plus tx, right? So this is plus tx plus 2x plus t is equals to 0, right? Now, they are saying show if the roots are real and also unequal. Oh, it's okay. Now, how are we going to show this here? Now, I want you to have an understanding that now from here, we need to start by writing this in standard form, right? But now, this, you are having more than 3 terms, right? Which means this is no longer a quadratic, a quadratic equation. So how can you do that? Look, I can say this is x squared plus, now can you see that here I have my tx and here I have my 2x, right? So can you see that I can take out the x outside, right? And then I'm going to be left with what? T plus 2, right? Then this is going to be also plus t, which is equal to 0. And now that you have that, which means what is then that you're going to do? Which means now you are going to say, what is the value of your A? What is the value of your B? What is your value of your C? Right? Can you see that the value of your A here, it's 1 here, right? Because now there is nothing next to a coefficient, right? Which means this is 1. The value of your B, can you see this is the value of your B, right? This is the value of your A. This is going to be the value of your B, and the value of your C, it's same as what? It's same as T. And now, after that, what is it then that you're going to do from here? Let's see. So we are going to start now and say, look, now from here, we have our value of our A, our value of our B, and the value of our C. And then now they want us to prove that the roots are going to be real, right? Now, what is it then that you're going to do if we are proving that? Let's just make up our space here. So if we are proving that the roots are real, what is the best thing that you are going to do now from here? We are going to say, look, now here delta, we are looking for the value of your delta. Your delta is b squared subtract 4ac. Now, what is the value of your b here? Can you see that the value of your b, it's t plus 2 squared subtract 4. The value of your a, it is 1. And the value of your c, it's going to be t, right? Which is equal to 0. Now, what is it then that you're going to do now from here? Now, I want you to have this, right? Remember, this is same as t plus 2. And this is same as t plus 2 minus 4t, right? Why am I saying this is equal to 0? Because here they didn't tell us, right? Now, this is minus 14. And then now from here, what is it then that you're going to have here? This is t multiplied by t, which is t squared. And then can you see that this is going to be plus 2? And then this is going to be plus 2, right? These ones, right? These are going to be plus 2, plus 2t, which means here your answer here it's same as 4t minus what? This is 4t plus what? And then the 2 and the 2 gives you what? Gives you 4. This is going to minus 14. Altogether, right? And can you see that the 40 and the 40 are going to cancel, right? And now, is this going to be what? Is this going to be your perfect square? Let's see. This is same as t squared plus your 4, right? And indeed, I can confirm that this is going to what? This is going to what? This is going to be your, the roots here are going to be real and also unequal. That's okay, right? So now, because now, can you see that the minimum value of t, right? Can you also see that the minimum value of t squared is going to what? It's going to be 4. Are you fine, right? So, which means now here, if you are saying this is same as t squared plus 4, which is greater than what? Which is going to be greater than 0. Are we okay? Right? So, which means now any value of your t that you are going to substitute, either your 1, your 2, or 3, whatever that you're going to get here, your delta is always going to be greater than 0, right? So that's why we are saying this here, you're going to have real and also unequal roots. Are we fine, right? So I am hoping that at least this makes sense, right? If not, ensure that you have watched some of the other videos so that you can have an understanding of what we are doing in here. Okay, so thank you very much for listening.